what's up guys, Benny here, and welcome to the top 5 meta loadouts that you need to be running in Call of Duty Warzone, because this week there have been a couple of discoveries that you do not want to miss out on using. And if you are new around here, take a second and hit the subscribe button for more Call of Duty Warzone. But let's get into our first loadout. Now, I want to start off with the AMAX Guardian, and you're probably wondering, what in the world is a Modern Warfare 2 weapon doing in a loadout video in 2025? And well, I thought I'd just show you. Dragon Breath rounds are back. And if you don't remember, fire shotguns used to reign supreme on Verdansk back in the original version of the game. And this thing has an incredible TTK potential up close. You need to be inside of buildings, stairwells to get the most out of this. Obviously, at those longer ranges of like 10 meters, you're going to get beaten by an SMG, but there are a lot of close range fights on this map if you're not getting popped off by a HDR. But Dragon Breath rounds is obviously a requirement for the build. The optic that you're going to go for is like, I actually can't believe how many attachments there are. We got to scroll through and find it. It's the Cronin Intless. So we just gotta, there we go. It's gonna give you aiming stability, hip fire and tac stance spread, and ADS speed. Laser visible in ADS, but that's okay if you're aiming down sight with this. They're gonna be close enough to see you. Then we're gonna go for the muzzle, and you're gonna want to have the Flash Twist 90. This is increased damage range. This is very important because when we open this up right now, without all the the attachments we're going, the effective damage range is only 4 meters, right? That is not gonna do you any good even inside of a building. So we're going to add the flash twist on. Then we're going to go for the barrel, and we're going to go the HYPLM, which is going to bring it up to close to 5 meters. So inside of those kind of like small buildings and stairwells, you're going to get that max damage potential, where combined with the beautiful Dragon Breath rounds, players are not going to be able to see you, and they're just going to get melted. Also, we're going to put the rear grip on, where we're going to go for the Stream SK for sprint to fire and ADS speed. And a quick look of it in the firing range. Like, obviously, right, this is a little bit too far away, but that's too far, right? At that range, it sucks. But trust me, if that target was 5 meters in front, insta-kill. Next up, we've got to include the HDR, and honestly, I don't think we've ever seen a weapon dominate Warzone as much as this has in the first week of the return of Verdansk. Snipers especially, but the build that you're going to want to have, I personally don't go for an optic. I have seen some people deciding to drop a couple of the attachments available here for like the Redwell custom scope, so you can get different zooms depending on the fight ranges that you're in, but that's personally not for me. I think the default scope is a great option. The muzzle you're going to go for is a monolithic suppressor. You're going to stay off radar, you've got that bullet velocity, and you've got in that increased damage range. The damage range doesn't really matter. It's all about the bullet velocity, because remember, it's a one-shot kill at any range. The barrel, we're then going to go for the gain twist, because once again, we don't need damage range. We just need the maximum bullet velocity possible. We're not going to go for an underbarrel. We're not going to go for a magazine, but we are going to go for a rear grip for the quick draw grip. This means you get that faster ADS, so it becomes a lot snappier, which is kind of one of the reasons this gun is so overpowered. It's more like the original Kar 98K with high bullet velocity and way further like one-shot kill potential. Then we're going to go to the laser, and we're going to stick the target laser. This is going to improve that aiming idle sway delay and that aim walking steadiness. So it means that when you kind of go into to snap, it's just a lot easier to hit your shots. That aiming idle sway really does help. Then the final attachment is going to be those overpressured rounds for that increased bullet velocity to get that 1,207 meters a second. And honestly, I've had so much fun with this build. Make sure to give it a go if you haven't already. So our next loadout is the AK-74. And if you're wondering, no, this is not for medium to long range. This is the close range meta on Verdansk, and is what everyone was using alongside the HDR in the $100,000 Twitch Rivals tournament, which was a lot of fun to play in earlier this week. But with the AK-74, you're going to go straight for the muzzle and throw on the compensator. This is going to help eliminate a load of that recoil that does make the AK-74 quite hard to use sometimes. We're not going to put a barrel on it because we do not need that extra bullet velocity or damage range, because remember, we are fighting using this as a close range weapon, which we've not had a close range meta assault rifle since Verdansk, actually, really. The underbarrel, we're then going to go for the Ranger foregrip because that's going to, once again, help eliminate the recoil, horizontal recoil, and then also give us sprinting movement speed so it operates more like an SMG and we can move around the map faster. Now, I'm going to leave the magazine till last for one reason, right? Because there's one thing that I do differently compared to a lot of people with this build. The rear grip, you're going to go for that ergonomic grip for that faster ADS, slide to fire, dive to fire, and jumping ADS speeds. The best rear grip option. And then the stock, we're going for that infiltrator stock for aim walking movement speed. Because remember, in this game, you're holding your irons a lot more. You don't want to be kind of caught in sprint to fire. You're holding lanes as people push you to really take advantage of that fast time to kill. So that goes on. And then the magazine I use, most people use the extender mag, right? But that slows down your ADS and sprint to fire. I go for the flip mag, right? TTK and the bullets you need to kill, you can take 2 or 3 opponents down very easily before you need to reload. And the reload with the flip is almost instantaneous, but you get faster ADS, you get faster sprint to fire, just making it feel even more like an SMG, like a 205 millisecond ADS speed, which if you're not already holding your irons, can give you the edge in a lot of those fights. So run that flip mag and let me know what you think. But I absolutely love the AK on Verdansk right now. So our next loadout is the SWAT 556, which in my opinion is the best 5 attachment assault rifle in Call of Duty Warzone right now. And you probably better know it as the Grau. First things first, you're gonna go put the SWAT 556 Grau conversion kit on. We're then going to go, of course, to the magazine to get that full auto extender mag to give us that classic 50 round mag that we know and love from the original Verdansk. The muzzle is, of course, going to be the monolithic suppressor. That's increased bullet velocity and damage range. And quite importantly, no minimap firing ping. Having that suppressor is so helpful in this game. Just makes it harder for enemies to pinpoint you and decide to rush you, which we probably all do on Warzone right now. You see a red dot and you're like, I'm going that way. Just hearing gunshots makes it a little bit harder. So put the monolithic suppressor on. The underbarrel, we're then going to have that vertical foregrip for that horizontal recoil control, helping to make this a no recoil laser beam, which is what we expect with the Grau. And then the final attachment is the rear grip. And we're going to run that quick draw grip because that's going to give us the fastest ADS, bring it to a 205 milliseconds to snap, make it nice and snappy. And honestly, this thing is an absolute machine. I love it. If I'm going to have a 5 attachment assault rifle, right now, the Grau is where I'm going. So our next loadout is for the CR56 AMAX, which is arguably the best full auto assault rifle if you're going for 8 attachments. Now, on this, we're going to go with our optic to start off with. And I personally think the Volshkivi Reflex, I will never say that right, is the best 1x optic that you want to be running. We're then going to the muzzle, and we don't want to run the monolithic suppressor because the thing that the AMAX needs is recoil control. So very much like the AK-74, it's got a lot more recoil. So the compensator is going to give us vertical recoil control and also recoil stabilization, making it a lot easier to control. The barrel, we've already got we're going to have a solid amount of bullet velocity on this build. So I go for the reinforced barrel so we get an increased damage range so we can get those faster TTKs at those medium distances. So the reinforced barrel, very, very important. And you're still getting that bullet velocity increase as well. Under barrel, we're going for the vertical foregrip just to take out the horizontal recoil. The magazine, now, I kind of think it is a crime that there is a 60 round mag for the AMAX, but I don't go for it because there are a lot of negatives to your handling for the 60 round mag. So you get way slower ADS, way slower reload, and with the time to kill in this game, you don't need that. Just go for the extended mag, then you don't get those penalties. You still get 45 rounds, and really, you don't need more than that with the AMAX. The rear grip, we go for that quick draw, just for that faster ADS. The stock, we're going to go for the combat. So there's a couple options here, right? So you've got obviously flinch resistance, light stock, aim walking speed. I always go for the combat stock so I get that aim walking movement speed, but also that flinch resistance. So in those 50-50 gunfights, if you're getting hit as well, you're still going to easily be able to land your shots at a distance. No laser, and then the firing mods, right? We go for those overpressured rounds just to finish off the builds. Like if you want to, you can go for recoil springs as well, but you don't have as much bullet velocity, but that is personal preference. And if you're wondering, I personally go for the recoil springs version, but I know a lot of pro players go for overpressured. So next up, we've got the first SMG in our meta loadouts that you want to be using in Verdansk, and that is the C9 or the MP5. I can imagine the AK-74 is going to get tuned so it isn't as dominant at close range as it currently is, and then the C9 will become prominent once again. The muzzle, you're going to go for that compensator for that recoil reduction. The barrel, you're going for that reinforced barrel so you get that damage range and then increased bullet velocity as well. Then for the underbarrel, you're going to be going for that range of foregrip for that extra movement speed. Magazine is, of course, we're going for that extended mag 2, so we've got 50 rounds to work with. And then stock, we go for that balanced stock, so you get that movement speed, hip fire, aim walking movement speeds, pretty much everything that you need on the SMG, and that is what I personally rock on the C9. It is sublime. Now, the final loadout I'm going to give you is for the Kilo 141, another classic for Verdansk. And the optic, of course, I'm going to be going for that Volskov reflex. It's something I just use on assault rifles now. I don't think you need those 3x scopes. Though, of course, if you do like the 3x options, you can go for that Willis 3x. But personally, the Volskov is everything I use on my assault rifles now. The muzzle, we're going to go for that monolithic suppressor so we get that increased bullet velocity. There is no recoil on the Kilo, so you don't need that compensator. Then for the barrel, we go for that reinforced barrel for bullet velocity and damage range. The underbarrel is that vertical foregrip. Magazine, we're going to go for extended mag 2. There is extended mag 3, but I think these large mags have such big penalties to the handling. They're not worth it. 60 rounds, more than enough to be working with. Rear grip is that quick draw grip. Stock is going to be the combat stock for flinch resistance and aim walking speed. And then firing mods, we go for that overpressured rounds once again. But this is an absolute machine of an assault rifle. A great option if you don't want to go for the AMAX. But those or the Grau. But I hope you found these loadouts helpful. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time for more. Bye.